So before we dive into the detail of machine learning, as we will take a deep dive into the subject, you may find a huge amount of information available on internet. Naturally, the information is not very synchronous as there are many creators and they have represented their content in their own way. So therefore, as a beginner, what I think, it's really difficult to understand the relation between various parts of the subject and making a proper streamline. Therefore, some people may feel it's very easy to get lost in such a huge information pool. And actually, from my side, I can say that it was one of the prime motivation to build this course for you from scratch, where I can show you the path to understand the flavor of the subject and you get a motivation. In addition, there are many cases where people start understanding everything from core level of mathematics and eventually the interest gets reduced. I mean, there must have some mathematical background present in the subject, right? And sometimes I've seen that many people starts directly from maths background and they start getting bored with the subject. So in this particular course, we will not do, we will not go in that direction. Rather, we have to make this subject very interesting so that we can learn it properly. So that's why what my plan is that we will learn the subject just like a story. Okay. Of course, understanding the mathematics is crucial. But therefore, I will introduce the mathematical part slowly so that the interest of the subject doesn't affect. Okay. So let's start with a very basic understanding of what exactly artificial intelligence is. So before come to a definition of what is artificial intelligence, a bookish definition, I want to, as I told you that I want to go with a story. So let's try to understand the relation first. Like in your daily life, you will find a number of electronic devices you use to minimize the computational overhead of your brain. What I just told you. One classic example is calculator, right? An electronic calculator can evaluate any complex result in a fraction of a second. But remember, this is not artificial intelligence because calculator follows some predefined rules that never changes over time, right? Because whatever addition rule presently calculator is following will also follow after few years or decades. Even the same rule was followed even before few decades. That means calculator has no power to adapt its functionality based on new input. What does it mean? I mean, in other words, what AI does is not only complex but also human cognitive function. What does cognitive mean? Cognitive actually mean it's related with the brain. So naturally a question may come in your mind, what exactly differentiate between complex task and a cognitive function, right? I mean, evaluating a very complex instruction or uh, a very complex mathematical rule is also a difficult task, right? For example, I have lot of complex, you know, values, complex numbers, and some, you know, addition or some mathematical computation on that. That is also a complex task. And say, for example, recognizing a particular face from a very clumsy image, that's also a complex task. But remember, whatever the second option that I showed, that is actually the cognitive function. Anyway, let's see some examples of complex cognitive tasks are recognizing as an object that just I said from an image. For example, one more thing that I can currently remember is, say, for example, deciding a reply of a statement, or a very popular example is playing a chess. Like in chess play, there can be hundreds of possible moves for each and every move of the opponent, right? Therefore, if you want to write a function for computer to play chess, you may need to feed a huge number of rules, which is an impossible task. And also, the function can play the game based on only predefined rules, which never changes on time. Therefore, there is no scope of improvement of the computer in the game. But practically, what happens? If we play the chess, what happens? As we continue playing, we improve the ability of win the game based on previous experience. So presently, for example, you started chess playing, the performance that you will have, if you continuously do the practice on the same game with various partners, what you will observe that day by day your performance is improving. That means the probability of getting a win, that will obviously increase, right? But it's what we are saying, it's practically in our case. But if I just assume that I have some set of, I've designed some set of rules, like if this happens, then this will be the move, or this will be the move, and after that that will be the move. So if this predefined rules is given, and I feed this rule to a machine so that the machine can play the chess, so machine will follows that particular rule blindly, and that if I don't change the rule dynamically over time, throughout the years or decades, the machine will act in the same way for the chess playing and game, and there will be no improvement. So that is a very basic difference of normal rule based or instruction based program and artificial intelligence. That let's come to the point that what I said, that my previous experiment, based on my previous experience, the ability of win will be improved. That means something we are missing here. And what is that? It's actually, you can say, the flexibility of learning that we have, right? This is the most important feature of human cognitive function. Therefore, if we want to design an AI based system, we must ensure that the system must have the capability to adopt its power based on previous experience, just like human being. Now, how a machine can adopt the nature, we will understand in near future. Okay. But for today, try to understand this point, that somehow we will feed a machine in such a way that this learning capability that we have, that we apply in every case, every day, will be somehow given to a machine also in some form. Okay. So this is what you can say a very basic understanding of what exactly artificial intelligence is. So now let's do one thing. Let's take a little more, you know, deep understanding between a traditional computer task and a artificial intelligence.